Guys, what's going on? Leo Cannell here with today's amazing question. How in the world did Elon Musk get $46.5 billion in funding to buy Twitter? It's going to blow your mind. Yes, he could do it with cash, but he didn't. And I'm going to break down exactly what happened and why, and how you can learn how creative funding can change your life and help you create your dream business today. Let's go! All right, my friends. So Elon Musk, very recently, just the last day or so, he had this offer. He made an offer for $46.5 billion to buy Twitter, but he didn't actually have all the cash on hand to do it, so he needed to get some creative funding and financing put together in order to make that happen. Now, you probably saw the articles at the end of 2021, he had all these options with Tesla and he was actually going to get more stock, but he actually had to pay taxes and sell some of his existing stock to get more stock. It's complicated, but the bottom line was he sold $22 billion worth of his Tesla stock. And because he sold that, well, the next thing that happened, unfortunately, he had to pay $11 billion in taxes. So for all those politicians out there whining and complaining, oh, you got to pay your fair share, I think $11 billion is a lot of money. He probably paid his fair share, right? So let's do some math here. Sold $22 billion, had to pay $11 billion, so he's got $11 billion left over. What did Elon do next? Well, he said, well, I'm going to take $2.9 billion. I'm going to buy 9.2% of Twitter stock. So now he owns that Twitter stock. He actually was the largest majority shareholder in the company at that point just a few weeks ago when he made that decision and bought that 9.2% of Twitter stock. But he wasn't done there. He's like, boy, if I'm on the board, I can't really make the impact I want. I can't make sure freedom of speech is where it needs to be. So that this public discourse, this public square that we need to have a democracy function and function fairly and objectively, I've got to have more ownership. Maybe I just need to buy the whole damn thing. And that, my friends, is exactly what he did. So currently Musk is worth $269 billion, much of it in his Tesla stock, some of it in his SpaceX stock, but most of it is in his Tesla stock. So that's where he holds his money. Now, if he sold $92 billion of his stock minus some hefty taxes, well, he might just have that $46.5 billion available, but he knows something that probably the rest of us don't, and that's he anticipates Tesla stock to continue to increase, to continue to go up in value. Same with SpaceX, same with his boring company and his solar company. So that being said, he doesn't want to sell it because then he won't be able to get all the additional earnings and income from the increase in that stock price. Now, the wealthy and wise will generally tell you, hey, yes, I've got cash and capital, but I'm going to use other people's money because there's two types of debt. There's bad debt, that's personal debt, that's used for vacations and expensive cars, that doesn't make you money. And then there's good debt, and that good debt, my friends, is debt to buy real estate, debt to buy businesses that are going to make you a lot of money because you are investing in a real asset that's going to make you money and increase over time and save you money on taxes. That's how the rich get richer, my friends. So if you want to do it, you have to learn about creative funding. And that, my friends, is exactly what Elon Musk, because he didn't want to use all of his cash when he could use other people's money and get funding. So what did he do? Well, I need $46.5 billion. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get $25 billion in debt, in a loan. That means he's not losing ownership. He's not losing equity. This isn't Shark Tank. He's literally getting that money from big banks like Bank of America, Barclays, and Morgan Stanley. And so that now, my friends, is $25 billion. It's nothing more than a loan. He didn't give away his equity. So let's do some math here. $46.5 billion minus that $25 billion in loans equals he needs another $21.5 billion left. So the remaining $21.5 billion is actually going to come in cash from some of the stock sale that he had with Tesla, and he's probably going to sell a few more shares as well in order. And he already owns, almost $3 billion of Twitter stock as well. So he needs another, let's call it $18 billion to make that happen. Here's what the whole thing looks like. Let's break this down. So first, he's going to sell some more stock. He's going to have his $21 billion that he's going to bring to the table. Let's call that a pretty good down payment, right? And then we've got Morgan Stanley with 3.5. We got Bank of America with 2.7. We got Barclays with 2.7. And then there are all these other banks, Society General. We've got Morgan Stanley. Just all these different banks that are kind of bringing money to the table. So this adds up to $13 billion in a loan. But then he had to have another loan against his Tesla stock. So he's actually putting up his collateral. So he had cash, collateral, and just basic loans. And that, my friends, is how creative funding works. And this is so important. Let's say you're an entrepreneur, and we've helped thousands of business owners get funding for their business. And here's what happens. They go to their bank and they ask their bank for 50 grand. The bank's like, give us 2 years of business tax returns. Well, you're starting a new business. You do not have them. But here's what happens when you come to Seven Figures Funding. We will connect you up with 5 banks that will each give you $10,000. You have no idea how to do that. And with our software and our program and our funding marketplace, that's how you can get $50,000. And this is the same thing Elon Musk is doing. This is what creative entrepreneurs do. This is what Sam Walton did to build up Walmart. This is what Google did. This is what Under Armour and Kevin Plank did. And we're going to have some amazing stories and videos coming out in the next few weeks about this. So what can we learn from Musk's purchase and his funding prowess and creative financing techniques to buy Twitter? Well, the first thing we can learn is if the world's richest person utilizes creative funding in order to grow his business and buy a business and make his dreams happen, then probably we should take notice, and the rest of us should understand how important creative funding and financing is in order to create your dream business. So let's break this down. Let's unpack this. What are the keys needed to take out funding for your new or established business and grow it? Well, number one, strong credit will always come in handy. Elon has taken out billions of dollars in loans from the government, from the big banks, and he's built a reputation as someone who does what he says he's going to do. He follows through. And that, my friends, is why credit will always come in handy. You must have good credit. If you don't now, it's time to start building it. We have a credit education course that's free. Take action and understand your credit is important. Next, verifiable personal business income. Like if you don't have some money coming in, pretty tough to pay back that loan. So having verifiable income, even if that's a pay stub from a job, and this is a side hustle, you're going to get funding for your business. We have clients do that all day and twice on Sunday. Now, cash may be needed for down payment. Most of the funding we do, you don't need any cash, but sometimes if you're buying equipment or commercial real estate or you have a big project, you may need down payments, so cash is going to come in handy. And last but not least, you must build great funding relationships and find a funding marketplace, a funding advocate who can basically protect you, just like a doctor is going to give you the right prescription and an attorney is going to save you in a really big case coming up against you. You got to have that advocate. You got to have a funding advocate. And that's what Seven Figures Funding is. That's what we do all day long. We help business owners and those who want to start and create their dream business with 3 easy steps. You basically apply for funding. The most important question you ask, is this going to hurt my credit? It will not. We're on the soft credit pull program with Experian. No impact to your credit. Talk with your funding advisor, get your free pre-approval, and then lock in those funds, whether it's 0% interest credit stacking or a 5-year loan with no collateral. There's so many options available, but it's even more than that, right? Because as a business owner, you need to be getting the best funding guaranteed. We have this guarantee no one else does. Your local bank can't guarantee you. They only have 2 products. We have the full marketplace, 100+ lenders. We can guarantee the best funding for you. We help you save money. Let's say you have 15 grand at 20% interest on some credit card debt. We'll move that to 0% interest, save you as much as $5,000, $10,000 a year in interest. We had a client recently save $14,000 a month, if you can believe that. We're also going to help you get funding anywhere in the US, so wherever you're at. And you're going to get a free pre-approval with no impact that's going to hurt your credit. And last but not least, we're going to give you credit education. Because I don't know about you, I didn't learn anything about credit in high school and college. And our mission is to eradicate the disinformation and misinformation about credit here and now and forever.